Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Wekiva High School welcomes you to Mustang Field, where it's a beautiful day for baseball. Please welcome our guests. From Lake Minneola High School, they are the Hawks. And they'll be taking on your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Let's meet the teams. We'll begin with our guests from Lake Minneola, and we'll start with their leadoff hitter, shortstop, number 10, Ethan Diaz. Second in the lineup for the Hawks, second baseman, number 26, Jesse Johnson. Third in the lineup for Lake Minneola, third baseman, number 12, Hunter French. The Hawks' cleanup hitter is center fielder, number 11, JoJo Smiley. In the 5-hole for Lake Minneola, right fielder number 30, Keegan J. Zinn. Batting sixth for the Hawks is designated hitter number 16, Daniel Marinacci. And fielding for him to start today's game on the pitcher's mound, number 4, Bradley O'Kane. In the 7-hole for Lake Minneola, catcher number 5, Luis Morales. Batting 8th for Lake Minneola, first baseman number 24, Sam Rice. And finally for the Hawks, batting 9th, left fielder number 13, Justin McLeese. And Lake Minneola is managed by head coach Dr. Kerry Wetro, with assistant coaches Dr. Scott Underwood, Rick Thomas, Dr. John Jones, Luis Morales, and Chris Carney. And now, let's meet the starting lineup for your Wekiva High School Mustangs. The leadoff hitter for Wekiva, second baseman, number 21, Christian Vasquez. Second in the lineup for Wekiva, shortstop, number 12, Connor Ross. Third in the lineup for the Mustangs is third baseman, number 18, Adrian Bendana. Mustangs cleanup hitter in the 4-hole is first baseman, number 22, Damir Simon. Fifth in the lineup for the Mustangs, right fielder, number 14, Greg Jones. In the 6-hole and behind the plate, at the top of each inning, number 2, Jazion McCoy. Seventh in the lineup and on the pitcher's mound to start today's game, number 11, Andre Maya. In the 8-hole for the Mustangs is designated hitter number 25, Clayton Cox. And fielding for him in left field is number 4, Alejandro Carmona. And finally for the Mustangs, batting 9th, center fielder, number 1, C.J. Goodwin. And the Mustangs are managed by Coach Scudero and Coach Wersu. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please stand as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you here in the ballpark, we want to let you know that if you have friends and family back in Minneola, elsewhere in Apopka, or anywhere in the world, and they would like to join us virtually today, they can do so on YouTube or the NFHS network. Again, YouTube or the NFHS network. Most of our fans will probably choose to watch on YouTube. You just open up the YouTube app on your favorite computer, smart TV, or mobile device, and search for Wekiva Sports. Again, the channel name is Wekiva Sports on YouTube. And we also simulcast the game to the NFHS network. We will also be split screening that live stream as soon as the softball game starts, so we'll get softball versus Timber Creek in on that live stream as well. And for those of you who are already tuned in on one of those two resources, we want to welcome you to the broadcast today. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs and sports information director here at Wekiva High School, joined, as always, by Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, and we will be taking you through today's baseball game and softball game, which will start a little later. We'll leave the baseball game up full screen for now. Softball is scheduled to start in about 40 minutes, and when that happens, we will split screen and get them going as well. So welcome to the broadcast, Neil.
And thank you, Mark. As always, an excellent job of the introductions and getting us started at Mustang Field. Making the start today for Wekiva's Andre Moya. He is making his fourth appearance of the season. His second start does come in with a higher than you would like ERA, 15 flat. Again, he is a junior, and we've talked all season long about this being a very young team, Wekiva that is.
As we enter the top of the first inning, once again, the leadoff hitter for the Hawks is shortstop, number 10, Ethan Diaz.
And as Diaz steps in, he will look at strike one. And again, that youth movement with Wekiva, Moya is one of those players who has definitely made this a youth movement team. He is a junior, but this is his first year on the varsity team as he delivers high, and that'll even the count at 1-1 to Ethan Davis. Davis, the shortstop. Ethan Diaz. And he is now looking at a 2-1 count. Diaz comes in, batting .438, second on the team with 21 hits. That's second on the team as well, and he will begin the offensive effort for Lake Minneola with that slash through the middle.
Diaz opens up with a single. He's safe at first. Next at the plate for the Hawks, second baseman, number 26, Jesse Johnson.
So Johnson steps in. He's batting .250 for the season. 9 for 36, 7 RBIs, a double and a triple. So Lake Minneola is a team that's young, certainly not nearly as young as Wekiva, and you can see the difference at least statistically. They are a very powerful offensive team, batting .310 as a team, 400 on-base percentage, and they have even hit a couple of home runs as Moya is concerned with Diaz over on first. Diaz beginning this game with a single through the middle. Lake Minneola 10-6, a member of District 5A5. And on the go, Diaz, and he will be into second base safely.
Yeah, fortunately for the Mustangs, you can't earn an error on a stolen base no matter how badly you fumble it, as long as they don't get an extra base.
Yeah, again, McCoy behind the plate, throwing that ball really wide, but I don't think he would have had much of an opportunity to get Diaz anyway. Diaz, an excellent start. We'll set the defensive lineup in a minute. As Johnson looks at 2-0 now. McCoy behind the plate, Simon at first, Vasquez in the middle at second, in the hole, shortstop Ross, third baseman, the hot corner, Bandana. As Moya delivers, and he will get his first strike, 1-2. In the outfield, Goodwin in the middle, manning the right side is Jones, and lining up on the left side is Carmona. That's your defensive lineup. The 2-1 pitch hit hard, and that's going to go all the way to the fence in left field. Carmona giving chase. And a stand-up double for Johnson and a 1-0 lead for Lake Minneola in the top of the first.
Johnson picks up the double, and that'll pick up an RBI and puts The Hawks on the board. Next to the plate for Minneola, third baseman, number 12, Hunter French.
And French, certainly can see why he's the number 3 hitter. He comes in leading the team. And batting average, .500. He is 22 for 44. 22 hits leads the team, as does 10 RBIs. Lake Minneola, a team that is very offensively powerful. .310 batting average, 400 on base. They've even cranked a couple of home runs out. They have 5 players hitting over 300 in this lineup. As Moya begins with a strike to French, 1-0 count. So again, Moya, another opportunity to get his ERA down as well as getting some experience. He's had a rough start so far this season, as a number of the pitchers for Wekiva does, as the count is now 1-1. 15.00 ERA. This is his 4th appearance. That's Moya. Moya will now deliver. And that ball's ripped again into the hole, finding that open seam. And Johnson will stop at second or at third. And not to start if you're Wekiva. Certainly you don't have to be a baseball guru to understand they are not starting the way they wanted to.
French picks up the single, and that puts runners at 1 and 3 for the Hawks. Next at the plate for Lake Minneola, center fielder, number 11, JoJo Smiley.
So 3 batters, 3 base hits, 2 singles, a double in between. And JoJo Smiley, the center fielder, now at the plate. And first pitch goes for strike 1. So Smiley, one of those 5 players batting over 300. He's 367, 11 for 30, has 4 RBIs and a pair of doubles, and he has cranked one of the 2 home runs for Lake Minneola. The 1-1 pitch. The 0-1 pitch is low, and that'll even the count at 1-1. We are in the top of the first. Lake Minneola flexing its offensive muscles early. 3 batters, 3 hits, a 1-0 lead. Runners at first and third as the 1-1 pitch comes across. And Smiley fooled on that pitch. So Wekiva and Andre Moya on the mound in need of an out early. And the 1-2-2 count. On deck is Keegan Jameson, the right fielder. And the pitch is low outside.
So that brings up a full count now for Smiley at the plate, with runners again now at 2 and 3.
And the full count pitch, that's lifted into foul territory and will clear the fence. So we'll go back to work. 1-0 is the score. Wekiva in need of an out. Runners at first and third, nobody out yet. Andre Moya getting the starting assignment for Wekiva, who comes in 5 and 10. And quite frankly, as
He had a stolen base there, and so runners are at second and third for the Hawks.
and the strike on the outside corner, much needed out. Smiley down.
Moya records the strikeouts to put one away for the Hawks. Next at the plate, for Lake Minneola, right fielder number 30, Keegan J. Zinn.
So J. Zinn will step in with runners at second and third, and now one out. And he will begin his at-bat with a ball. J. Zinn batting .351, third on the team, and he might have an opportunity. Yes, successful to raise that average and bring in another RBI. Actually, he's going to bring in 2 RBIs. A nice piece of first pitch hitting, and 3-0 is now the score. Lake Minneola wasting no time flexing its offensive muscles.
Keegan J. Zinn with a 2 RBI single. He's safe at first. And he brings in Johnson and French. Next at the plate for Minneola, designated hitter number 16, Daniel Marinacci.
So Jay Zinn with 2 RBIs, his 9th and 10th of the season, actually now ties him with the lead on Lake Minneola with French. And unfortunately for Wekiva, there is still only 1 out. Jay Zinn at first. And Marinelli will look at ball 1. Marinacci. Marinacci batting .444 on the season, 4 for 12. And a 2-0
Had the duck
count.
out of the way of that one to bring
Yeah.
up a 20 count.
Marinacci also with a couple of RBI. So Marinacci has only played in 6 games. This is his 7th appearance. But certainly those stats indicate making the most of the opportunity when given. And the 2-0 pitch finds its way across the plate. (3-0) lead by Lake Minneola. We are in the top of the first in the 3-2-1 pitch. Marinacci fooled on that on the low sinking pitch. 2-2 count. The 2-2 pitch to Marinacci, and that ball is hit into right field. Giving chase is Jones, and he puts the out away. Nobody advances. So that will leave 2 outs with a runner at first base.
Jones makes the play in right field. 2 away now for the Hawks. Next at the plate, catcher number 5, Luis Morales.
And Morales will step in. Batting .212, but he does have 7 RBIs, which is 3rd on the team. On the go is Jay Zinn, and he will get into second base without a throw from McCoy. And in the meantime, the count, low pitch, and a nice job by McCoy not to allow it go behind him, but while he was looking, Jay Zinn was off to third base. So runner at third base, 2 outs, top of the first. Lake Minneola taking an early 3-0 lead. Lake Minneola coming in with a .310 batting average as a team, .400 on-base percentage. Certainly showing you why, as the count is now 2-0 to Morales. The 2-0 pitch. And that will be the first strike. So Moya looking to get out of this inning with only 3 runs given up. And he will deliver the 3-1 pitch.
And that 3-1 pitch is a ball, and that will put the runner on to first. So Morales walks to first, and that puts runners at 1 and 2 for first baseman number 24, Sam Rice.
So Rice, the first baseman, he'll step in, first and third, 2 outs. Rice batting .346, 1 of 5 players batting over 300. 9 for 26. And a pair of RBIs for the first baseman. Andre Moya making the start for Wekiva. And a rocky start for the junior. And a rocky start to the at-bat against Sam Rice, a 1-0 count. We are live from Mustang Field. Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi, along with the broadcast production team from Wekiva, handling the video aspects of the broadcast. Wekiva looking to shake off the effects of a very disappointing loss yesterday. They played Crooms Academy, a team that had only won one game. They came in 1-8, and Wekiva had defeated them 12-4. But when all was said and done, Wekiva suffered a 13-11 lead. And runners will now be at second and third as Morales takes advantage of McCoy holding the ball. With the runner at third, McCoy did not want to throw that ball down to second. A 1-0 count to Sam Rice at the plate. The delivery fouled off. So McCoy will go back to work with a 1-1 count. And make that a hit batsman. So our bases will now be loaded with 2 outs.
Rice advances to first. Next at the plate for the Hawks, left fielder, number 13, Justin McLeese. So, Neil, this is batter number 9. This is the whole lineup.
Yep, the entire lineup. And McLeese will step in. He is batting 111, has played in almost all the games, 13. This is his 14th. First pitch hitting behind the plate, McCoy giving chase. And chase is not enough as the ball will go out of bounds. So talked all about the disappointing loss yesterday, an opportunity for Wekiva to pick up some momentum, gain some confidence really. And it was just such a rocky start. They were down 10-0 heading into the 5th. Coach Scudero said that might have been something to do with inexperience. As the 0-1 pitch and another base hit ripped through the middle. Goodwin fields it and brings that ball back into the infield, but not before 2 more runs are pushed across home plate. 5-0 in the top of the 1st.
McLeese with a 2 RBI single. Next at the plate, the Hawks return to the top of the lineup with shortstop, number 10, Ethan Diaz.
And as you mentioned, Mark, Lake Minneola has gone through the entire lineup as McCoy delivers the first pitch, and that did not hit him. Diaz doing the two-step to get out of the way. Diaz began this game with a single. Stowed second, came home, scored Lake Minneola's first run. And the 0-1 pitch will now make the count 2-0. So Lake Minneola, both these teams can hit the ball. We've mentioned several times already, Lake Minneola batting .310, 400 on-base percentage. Wekiva comes in with a .302 batting average in its own right.
So, again, we're going to be getting to softball in just a second here. I'm going to put Mr. Dickerson up on the screen there. You can see we're getting softball set up, and that's going to be coming to you in about 25 minutes while we pause here on the baseball field for a little conference.
So both these teams came in somewhat unusual, Mark. They both have put up 98 runs at this point in the season. However, the difference is the runs given up. Wekiva giving up 30 more. And unfortunately for Wekiva, we are seeing that effect today as this ball is going to slap off of the first baseman, Simon. And the inning will continue.
So, Neil, are you going to score that as a hit or an error?
I believe I'll go with a single.
Diaz is safe at first. That puts runners on all 3 bases once again for second baseman number 26, Jesse Johnson.
And the first pitch to Johnson. Nice curve on the outside plate for Moya. Johnson with the biggest hit so far in terms of the most bases. He doubled in his first at-bat and brought in Diaz. And he will look at strike 2, an 0-2 count. We are in the top of the first. 5-0, Lake Minneola. As the count is now 1-2 to Jesse Johnson, the second baseman. Diaz, Johnson, French, Jason, and Morales all scoring runs in this first inning. The 1-2 pitch, low. McCoy doing a nice job of keeping the ball in front of him. Bases loaded, so obviously that's important for McCoy to keep that ball in front of him. And the 2-2 pitch, strike three. Stood there at the plate like the house on the side of the road, and the much-needed out. But Wekiva trails 5-0, a very rough start as we head to the bottom of the first inning.
That takes us to the middle of the first inning. In that half inning, the Hawks scoring 5 runs on 6 hits with no Mustang errors and leaving none on base. Or excuse me, leaving 3 on base. We'll be right back. And since we will likely be in the middle of a half inning when softball is ready to start, we are going to briefly introduce the softball teams that are going to be taking the field in just a moment. We are going to have the Timber Creek Wolves versus the Wekiva Mustangs. That's coming up in just about 20 minutes. Timber Creek will, of course, have the top of the inning, and their lineup will feature in order: shortstop number 17, Brooke McCann. Second baseman number 2, Reagan Grady. First baseman number 4, Bella Sperry. Third baseman number 99, Olivia Blaskowitz. Center fielder number 11, Alana Hill. Pitcher number 33, Angel Knowles. Left fielder number 12, Aria Kierstead. Designated player number 15, Alicia Pena. And catcher number 3, Carlin Payne. And then flexing in right field for Pena will be number 22, Jenna Vitello. Meanwhile, as we get back to live action and enter the bottom of the first inning here on the baseball field, the leadoff hitter for Wekiva once again is second baseman, number 21, Christian Vasquez.
And the good news, if you're Wekiva Mustangs, is they are coming in doing what they do best. That's batting, as Vasquez looks at ball 1. They come in with a .302 batting average. However, the bad news is they have already given up 5 runs. 5-0 is the score in the bottom of the first, as the count will now be 1-1. So Christian Vasquez looking at a 1-1 count. He comes in with a .469 batting average. Tops on the team. And that will run the count to 1-2. On the mound for Lake Minneola, Bradley O'Kane, making his 4th appearance of the season, a 4.67 ERA. 2-2 count now on Vasquez.
Now that one started to get away from Morales behind the plate, but there's nobody on to take advantage.
And the 2-2 count. Swing and a miss, Vasquez. Certainly did not got his money's worth, but still no connection, 1 out.
O'Kane records the swinging strikeout to put 1 away for the Mustangs. Next to the plate for Wekiva, shortstop number 12, Connor Ross.
And so yesterday against Crooms Academy was senior night here at Wekiva, and because of that, Ross, who takes strike 1, actually swinging strike 1, was not in the lineup. He has started 14 games as he will now take ball 1-1 count. So yesterday was the first game he did not play in. He is batting .282, 11 for 39, 10 runs, 10 RBIs and a double, and he will be looking at a 1-2 count. Excuse me, that is strike three.
Yeah, he swung at all three of those. Another swinging strikeout recorded for O'Kane. 2 away now for the Mustangs. Next at the plate for Wekiva, third baseman, number 18, Adrian Bandana.
And the pitch from O'Kane down to first base. Some work to be done, but no fair. The second baseman,
Play
Johnson.
is made on the throw from Jesse Johnson to Sam Rice, and that takes us to the end of the first inning. In that half inning, the Mustangs go 3 up and 3 down. No runs scored on no hits, and no Minneola errors, leaving none on base. And the score remains 5-0 at the end of 1 inning. And since we have a pause in the action of the baseball game, we introduced Timber Creek a moment ago, and now we'll take this opportunity to introduce Wekiva on the softball field as they get ready for their start in just under 15 minutes. Starting lineup for the Mustangs in lineup order will be pitcher number 1, Lexi Witz, third baseman number 21, Luis Concepcion, shortstop number 22, Alicia Perez, catcher number 12, Alyssa Griffin, second baseman number 23, Matrice Boyd, first baseman number 3, Avery Schoen, center fielder number 7, Aubriana Bryson, left fielder number 19, Emmy Castillo, and right fielder number 24, Cassandra Mark. Meanwhile, as baseball gets back to live action, Lake Minneola will begin the second inning in the fourth position of their lineup with center fielder number 11, JoJo Smiley. Now, of course, ordinarily, when you say you were beginning the second inning in the fourth position of the lineup, you'd assume they went 3 up and 3 down in the first inning. But that's not what happened, Neil.
No, a 5-0 lead by Lake Minneola as French takes ball 1 from Moya. 11 batters came to the plate in that first inning for the Lake Minneola Hawks as the 1-0 pitch becomes 2-0. And all 5 of those runs scored by Lake Minneola were earned as well, 6 hits. And damage could have been much worse. They left the bases loaded, 3-0 count. Moya back to work. This is his 4th start of the season, and he will get that strike. 3-1 count now on Hunter French, who singled one of those 6 hits in the first inning. He singled and then came home, and he will rip that ball down to third base. Bandana getting in front of it. Nice throw over to first. Simon with the out. 1 up, 1 down in the second.
Simon makes the play at first. 1 away for the Hawks. Next at the plate for Lake Minneola. Now, wait a minute. I'm not tracking with something because Smiley is still at the plate.
Okay. JoJo Smiley up to bat. He did strike out in the first inning. Yeah. And Smiley takes a crack at this. It's going into right field and actually center right field. And
JoJo Smiley picks up the base hit into right center field. And he's safe at first. Next at the plate for Lake Minneola, right fielder number 30, Keegan J. Zinn.
So Smiley picks up his first hit of the game, and Lake Minneola back in business on offense. They're already up 5-0. Top of the second, Jason, the right fielder, steps in. He had a hit in his first inning, a single, 2 RBIs, and he takes a swing at that first pitch, 0-1 count. So both these teams have played West Orange, Apopka, and Jones, common opponents. Lake Minneola, we'll get to that in a minute, as a swing and a miss by Jason. Outside corner being hit by Moya. So Lake Minneola lost to West Orange and Apopka, but they beat Jones. And that'll extend the at-bat for Jason, a 1-2 count. Wekiva also lost to West Orange and Apopka as contacts made by Jason into no man's land, and Goodwin unable to corral the ball. So Jason will reach base. That was Smiley. There's only one guy on base.
Oh, Smiley got out?
He must have, because there's only one guy on base.
Scoot up, Daniel. Scoot up.
So an error to Goodwin, runner at first base. That's Jason and 2 outs. We are in the top of the second. Lake Minneola up 5-0.
Now at the plate, DH number 16, Daniel Marinacci.
And Marinacci flew out to center field in his first at-bat. Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi bringing you the action from Mustang Field on a Tuesday afternoon. Wekiva looking to rebound from a very disappointing loss, losing to Crooms Academy yesterday, 13-11. A team that, at least statistically, they came in favored, as the count will now be 2 strikes, a 1-2 count. But the Wekiva will have its work to do. They find themselves down 5-0 in the top of the second, giving up all 5 runs in the first inning. Certainly a game that started as best as possible for Lake Minneola and worst as possible for Wekiva. And so the count will now be 2-2. It's Andre Moya on the mound for Wekiva, the junior, in his 4th game this season on the mound. The 2-2 pitch. And that's going to get away from McCoy. Actually, excuse me, it was a 3-2 pitch. So runners at first and second now.
Next to the plate for the Hawks, catcher number 5, Luis Morales.
So Morales steps in. He has yet to have an official at-bat. He walked in his first at-bat and wound up scoring what was the 5th run. And Moya starts him off with a strike, gets the call from the ump, caught the inside corner. The 0-1 pitch hit to center field. Goodwin waiting, and he puts this one away. So Wekiva gets out of the inning with no runs, but they still trail 5-0 heading to the bottom of the second.
That takes us to the middle of the second inning. In that half inning, no runs scored on 1 hit with 1 Mustang error, leaving 2 on base. And the score stands 5-0 at the end of 1.5 innings. We'll be right back while we set up for softball. As we enter the bottom of the second inning, the Mustangs begin in the fourth position of their lineup with first baseman number 22, Demir Simon.
And Simons looks at strike one, the number 4 batter, the cleanup hitter. Wekiva trailing 5-0. A 1-2-3 inning as the 1-0 pitch, 0-1 pitch becomes 0-2. Simon coming into today's game, batting .345 on the season, and he will look at strike 3. He stood there at the house on the side of the road.
Simon strikes out called on the throw from Bradley O'Kane. One away for the Mustangs. Next at the plate for Wekiva, right fielder number 14, Greg Jones. And as we enter the top of the first inning for softball, the leadoff hitter for Timber Creek, shortstop number 17, Brooke McCann.
So Jones with a .258 batting average. He has scored 8 runs, has 7 RBIs. And he will foul that pitch off. That will run the count to 0-2. Set your defensive lineup for Lake Minneola in a minute. Ball hit hard down to second. That's Johnson. Gobbles the ball up. A nice strong throw to first. 2 up, 2 down. 5 in a row now retired by O'Kane.
Play is made at first. 2 away for the Mustangs. Next at the plate for Wekiva, catcher number 2, Josiah McCoy.
So McCoy steps in. He is batting .220 on the season, 7 RBIs and a pair of doubles. And he will look at ball 1 from O'Kane. So your defensive lineup for Lake Minneola: Morales behind the plate, Rice at first, Johnson at second, Diaz at short, French at third, in a squibber back to O'Kane. Brings the ball down, over to first, 3 up, 3 down through the first 2 innings, 5-0, Lake Minneola.
That takes us to the end of the second inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left on base as the Mustangs go 3 up and 3 down. And we remain 5-0 at the end of 2 innings on the baseball field. Next at the plate for Timber Creek, second baseman, number 2, Reagan Greedy.
And welcome back to Mustang Field. Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi, along with the broadcast production department at Wekiva High School, bringing you the action for today's game. Wekiva finds itself down in a hole, 5-0. Lake Minneola pushing 5 runs across the plate in the first inning. They garnered 6 hits, and all 5 of those runs were earned. The good news, if you're Wekiva, though, is that they did get out of the second inning. No runs scored. A couple of batters reached base, but Andre McCoy got that 3rd out, and this is Sam Rice now stepping in, and he will foul off the first pitch. Rice batting .346 on the season, entering today's game. He's actually still batting .346 as he reached first base on a hit by pitch in his first at-bat.
Grady walks to first.
And so an 0-1 count now to Rice, the left-handed batter, first baseman.
Next at the plate for Timber Creek, first baseman number 4, Bella Sperry.
So Rice now will be facing an 0-2 count. Lake Minneola comes in 10-6. So they lost their last game. Rice swinging at a high pitch, but he makes connection. And that ball will be a long foul ball. So an 0-2 count to Rice. Moya on the mound for Wekiva. And Rice will stay alive, getting just enough of that Moya offering. So both these teams have come into today losing their last game. We mentioned that Wekiva lost to Crooms Academy 13-11 yesterday. As Rice slashes that ball to second, Ross doing the two-step. And he did a nice job of fielding, but the throw was off, and Simon couldn't corral it in time. Runner at first, nobody out.
Safe at first. Next at the plate for the Hawks, number 13, Justin McLeese, the left fielder.
So McLeese steps in, runner at first base, and nobody out. He reached base on a single in the first inning, and he will be hit by the pitch.
McLeese advances to first. Next at the plate, the Hawks return to the top of the lineup with shortstop number 10, Ethan Diaz.
And Diaz will step in, runners at first and second. Nobody out, so we're certainly seeing the youth translate to inconsistency. The first inning, the leadoff hitter reached base. The second inning, the leadoff hitter did not. And here in the third, the first two batters have reached base without a hit. And Diaz, who's batting for the third time today, he's going to get that ball into right field, a base hit. And Rice decides to stop at third, given the sign by the third base coach. That's actually Dr. Kerry Wheatro, the head coach.
Fly catch is made at second base for the Mustangs by Boyd, and that will take us to the middle of the first inning. We remain scoreless at the end of half an inning on the softball field.
So bases are loaded, nobody out for Lake Minneola.
Now at the plate for baseball, second baseman number 26, Jesse Johnson.
And Johnson will step in. He is 1 for 2 today. Doubled in the first inning with an RBI and then struck out. And he will look at ball 1. And we're going to get a stoppage. Coach Scudero coming out. He's going to have a conference with Moya and the rest of the infielders. So, a 10-6 record for Lake Minneola. They have won 4 games in a row twice. Their most recent was broken in their last outing. That was April 1st, 5 days ago. East Ridge taking a 1-0 victory. Their upcoming schedule is their next 3 games. They will play East Ridge on Thursday, and then next week they take on Evans and Leesburg. So certainly they would like to get a victory today, gain some momentum heading into that stretch.
As we enter the bottom of the first inning, the leadoff hitter for the Mustangs is pitcher number 1, Lexi Witz.
And Johnson will start with ball 1. Lake Minneola certainly on their way to getting the victory today. Wekiva is going to have to do some work. They're going to have to call up their offensive prowess as Johnson swings That'll even the count at 1-1. Five nothing to score. Lake Minneola in the lead, threatening. This is Jesse Johnson at the plate, and he will walk, and that score is now 6-0.
Johnson walks to first. Next to the plate, third baseman number 12, Hunter French.
So French will step in, 1 for 2 today, a single and run in the first. Swings at that first pitch.
Softball play is made at first, one away for the Mustangs. Next to the plate for Wekiva, third baseman number 21, Luis Concepcion.
So the bases remain loaded as the ball is now hit just beyond first base. Some over-the-shoulder action. And Simon and Vasquez unable to pull that ball in. A seeing eye single. And actually French was out.
Play is made at first. One away for the Hawks. Next to the plate, center fielder number 11, JoJo Smiley.
They scored a run on that. So Smiley steps in. The good news for Lake Minneola is despite the out, they do get the run in and increase the lead to 6-0. Smiley 0 for 2 today, now facing an 0-1 count. And he will look at ball one.
Now at the plate for the Mustangs on the softball field, shortstop number 22, Elisha Perez.
Moya gets his sign, the 1-1 pitch. Nice pitch over the middle of the plate.
Play is made at first, and that takes us to the end of the first inning. 3 up and 3 down, no runs, no hits, no errors, none left on base. And we remain scoreless at the end of one inning on the softball field.
Smiley lashes the ball, but foul. So the count will be even at 2-2. The 2-2 count up high will go full on Smiley. 6-0 the score, top of the third, Mustang Field. Both these teams looking to rebound after losing their last game. And connected by Smiley. Oh, and dropped by Ross, trying to make the over-the-shoulder catch. And more disaster for Wekiva, 7-0. As the runners are now at first and second.
Next at the plate for the Hawks, right fielder number 30, Keegan J. Zinn.
And only one out for Lake Minneola. Ball hit. And that will get the second out. Runners do advance. So we'll have runners at second and third with 2 outs.
2 away now for the Hawks. Next at the plate, designated hitter number 16, Daniel Marinacci. And as we enter the top of the second inning on the softball field, the Wolves will begin in the sixth position of their lineup with pitcher number 33, Angel Knowles.
So Marinacci steps up. He'll have runners at second and third with 2 outs. He is 1 for 2 today. Did walk in his last at bat. He began the game batting .444. This is only his 7th game he's played in. Lake Minneola's played 16, so he's playing in roughly half of those games. And he will look at strike one, the delivery from Andre Moya. He does have a pair of RBIs as well. Lake Minneola certainly showing its offensive prowess as early as possible.
Meanwhile, we've got a 3-0 count over on the softball side, and it's going to be 4 balls in a row as Knowles walks to first.
And now
next at the plate for Timber Creek, left fielder number 12, Arya Kersted.
Now an 0-2 count, and that'll bring the count to 1-2. Lake Minneola batting .310 as a team, and a 2-2 count coming in. They've already garnered 7 hits, and we're not even through the top of the third, along with the 8 runs. The 2-2 pitch, it's low, but gets away from McCoy. And boy, it's one of those games where even when things go right, they go wrong for Wekiva. So clearly, Marinacci fooled on that low pitch. Moya taking advantage of his over-eagerness, but it was a bad pitch, and it bounced past McCoy, and now the score is 9-0.
Now at the plate for the Hawks, catcher number 5, Luis Morales.
So Marinacci reaching first base on a drop, third strike. And Morales starts off with ball 1. He walked and scored a run in the first inning.
Kierstead walks to first on the softball field. That puts runners at 1 and 2 for number 15, the designated player, Alicia Pena.
And Morales will take first base, and the bases are loaded yet again.
Now at the plate for the Hawks, first baseman number 24, Sam Rice.
And Lake Minneola has now gone through the entire lineup in a single inning twice.
Play is made behind the plate for the Mustangs on the catch by Alyssa Griffin. 1 away for the Wolves.
And that will bring the third inning to an end, but not before some more runs scored by Lake Minneola. They increase the lead to 8-0. We'll be back for the bottom of the third.
Next at the plate for the Wolves, number 3, the catcher, Carlin Payne. Meanwhile, that takes us to the middle of the third inning on the baseball field. Score remains 8-0 at the end of 2.5. Meanwhile, we start with a ball over on the softball side. Tapped a foul of the third baseline on an attempted bunt to bring up the 1-1 count. And that is a wild pitch, and it's going to advance the runners to second and third. Put an extra ball on the count at the plate. Next to the plate for the Wolves, they return to the top of the lineup card with shortstop number 17, Brooke McCann.
And we return to Mustang Field for the baseball game. Bottom of the third inning, Moya at the plate, the starting pitcher. He'll be followed by Cox and Goodwin. And he's looking at an 0-2 count. That's Bradley O'Kane on the mound for Lake Minneola. Excuse me, a 1-1 count.
McCann picks up the single, and that will keep the bases loaded and pick up an RBI. Next to the plate for the Wolves, second baseman number 2, Reagan Grady.
Wekiva trailing 8-0 in the bottom of the third. Moya facing a 1-2 count. And the 1-2 pitch will become 2-2.
Meanwhile, we've got 1-0 on the softball field as Witz delivers the ball.
O'Kane has faced 6 batters, retired all 6. 3-2 count, 3 of which by the K. So O'Kane now up to 9 strikeouts on the season.
Safe at first on the softball field, and that will score another RBI. Next at the plate for the Wolves, number 4, the first baseman, Bellis Sperry.
And Wekiva gets his first runner of the game over on the baseball side. Moya hit by the pitch.
Moya advances to first base. Next at the plate for the Mustangs, designated hitter number 25, Clayton Cox.
So Cox will step in. Runner at first, nobody out. That's also the first time a leadoff hitter has got in on base for Wekiva. Cox with only 2 official plate appearances, 1 at bat. And he'll look at strike 1, swing and a cut, swing and a miss. So O'Kane came into today's game, the starting pitcher, giving up 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 4 walks and 6 strikeouts. It's now up to 9, a 4.67 ERA. And the 0-1 pitch finds the outside corner. 0-2 now on Cox, the number 8 hitter, and DH for Wekiva. Wekiva having a lot of work to do. We are in the bottom of the third, down 8-0. Lake Minneola out in the field.
Now at the plate for the Wolves, third baseman number 99, Olivia Laskowitz.
A 1-2 count on Cox. O'Kane looking into his catcher. Morales gets his sign. Strike 3. Stood there at the plate like the house on the side of the road. 2 down, 1 down, and the 4th strikeout for O'Kane.
Ball wait for the Mustangs. Next to the plate for Wekiva, number 1, the center fielder, C.J. Goodwin.
So Goodwin will step in, runner at first with 1 out. O'Kane certainly finding the plate, 4 strikeouts now. He's retired 7 of 8 batters. And Goodwin will look at strike 1. O'Kane, the lefty, getting his signal again, a lefty versus lefty matchup. 0-2 count now on Goodwin, the number 9 hitter, center field. 8-0, bottom of the third from Mustang Field. Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi bringing you the action. We also have softball going on, as Goodwin will go down to first base.
Single picked up there by Olivia Laskowitz. That'll score an RBI as well.
So Wekiva will have runners at first and second, 1 out. Their first scoring opportunity of this game. O'Kane did retire the first 6 batters. And now up is Christian Vasquez, who's 0 for 1, struck out in the first inning. And he will look at ball 1. O'Kane, the 0-1 pitch. Make that 0-2 outside. Vasquez showing patience at the plate.
5-0 score for the softball team at the end of 1.5 innings.
They walked him?
Foul ball.
So the 2-1 count. Pitch from O'Kane. And the battle will continue at the plate between Vasquez and O'Kane.
The Mustangs now at the top of their lineup card with Christian Vasquez, the second baseman.
Vasquez taking another cut and staying alive at the plate. So 2-2 count.
As we enter the bottom of the second inning, the Mustangs beginning in the fourth position of their lineup with catcher number 12, Alyssa Griffin.
The 2-2 count. It's dropped. And they're going to go to third. Morales getting Moya trying to take advantage of that drop third strike. So actually Moya's safe at third. He's still over there. So we'll have runners at second and third with 2 outs. Vasquez is officially out. He goes down by the strikeout. And that'll bring Connor Ross up. 0 for 1. And
now at the plate for the Mustangs, shortstop number 12, Connor Ross.
So upon second thought, and I did not realize this right away, but runners cannot advance on a drop third strike directly. That will be counted as a stolen base as the count is now 1-1. It's very similar to the infield fly rule. If there are runners on base, the lead runner cannot advance on a drop third strike and the batter is automatically out. So again, second and third, 2 outs. Fouled off by Ross. And the 1-2 pitch from O'Kane sets.
Griffin walks to first.
Swing, a miss.
Next to the plate for the
And that'll
Mustangs,
do it for the end.
second baseman number 23, Martrice Boyd. And that takes us to the end of the third inning. The Mustangs getting 2 on base but unable to convert. And so the score remains 8-0 at the end of 3 innings. Boyd safe at first.
Hey, Luis, did somebody score? Huh? I know, I'm asking you. Did you see somebody score?
Next to the plate for the Mustangs, first baseman number 3, Avery Schoen. So that puts runners at first and third as Boyd gets the job done there. As we enter the top of the fourth inning, the Hawks on the baseball side will begin in the sixth position of
It's a new pitcher.
sixth position of their lineup with designated hitter number 16, Daniel Marinacci, and now on the plate for the Mustangs, number 10, Ian Rosado.
You mean mound?
Yes, I mean on the mound. I'm trying to watch 2 games at once. And we'll have a foul ball to start things off.
And meanwhile, over on the baseball side, if you just tuned in, Mark just announced a pitching change. Ian Rosado will take over for Moya. Moya going the first 3 innings. We are in the top of the 4th. Rosado, the senior, comes in. This is only his 2nd appearance of the season. And he will face Sam Rice at the start of the 4th inning. Rice taking ball 1. Rice 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch in the 1st inning, reached base in the last inning, the 3rd inning, on an error by Vasquez, the shortstop, and eventually scored. And takes a hack at the 0-1 pitch. We are 1-1 now. So a 1-1 count.
That's in play on the softball side, headed into right field, and it drops. So the Mustangs will score their first run.
A 2-1 count now to Rice, and he's going to hit that ball. It actually hit his foot, so it's foul ball, 2-2.
Griffin comes home on the single.
So told you Rosado, actually this is only his 2nd appearance.
Next at the plate for the Mustangs, center fielder number 7, Aubriana Bryson.
And actually Rosado's only pitched 1/3 of an inning, so he has no stats. Did get the 1 batter he faced out. And he will deliver the 2-2 count. Up high. 8-0 is the score. We are in the top of the 4th. Lake Minneola leading from the start. The 3-2 full count pitch. And another leadoff hitter reaches base. Sam Rice drawing the walk from Rosado. So 3 of the 4 innings have begun for Lake Minneola with the leadoff hitter reaching base.
Marinacci at first. Next at the plate for the Hawks, number 31, Shane Thomas. So that'll be a new entry to the lineup.
So Thomas comes in batting .273, 3 for 11, and has 1 RBI. He will look at ball 1. Ball 2, a 2-0 count.
Knowles records the strikeout swinging. Next at the plate for the Mustangs, left fielder number 19, Emmy Castillo.
And Marinacci will advance down to 2nd. The 1-1 pitch, count that a strike.
Swings at the very first pitch, and that is caught behind the plate to put 2 away for the Mustangs. Next at the plate for Wekiva, right fielder number 24, Cassandra Mark.
So Vasquez gobbles that ground ball hit by Thomas. And that'll be the first out of the 4th inning. However, Marinacci does advance down to 2nd.
Play is made at first, 1 away. Next at the plate for the Hawks, number 14, Cody DeJarnette.
And now at the plate is DeJarnette. He comes in batting .375. He's appeared in 10 games. Has an RBI. Runner at 3rd. Nobody out, or 1 out. And a 1-1 count. Slashed into left field. That's going to drop, and that's going to up the lead to 9-0.
RBI scored by DeJarnette. Next at the plate for the Hawks, number 29, Ryan Paul.
And so Paul will step in. He's looking for his first hit of the season, has only 5 official at-bats.
Meanwhile, on the softball side, that takes us to the end of the second inning. Mustangs getting on the board in that half inning, and they now trail Timber Creek 6-1 at the end of 2.
Strike 1 delivered to Paul. The low 1 pitch, that'll be 1-1. Runner at first, 1 out for Lake Minneola. And I see we're going to have another pitch hitter. And smacked off of Bendena's glove at third. And so that'll put runners at first and second with 1 out. In a game that's already 9-0 in favor of Lake Minneola.
Single picked up there by Paul. Runners at first and second now, and next at the plate is number 8, Dylan Dargis.
So Dargis steps in. This is his 8th game that he's played in. A 167 batting average, 2 for 12 and a pair of RBIs. And we are going to get a pitching change.
As we enter the top of the third inning on the softball field.
No, we're not.
The Wolves will begin in the 5th position of their lineup with center fielder number 11, Alana Hill.
So Dargis steps in, and you will look at ball 1 from Rosado. We did not have a pitching change. So Rosado continues. He came in relief, began the top of the 4th. He will deliver that 0-1 pitch. And another base hit. Some trouble out there in center field. And when all's said and done, the bases will now be loaded. Only 1 out.
Dargis drops the single to load up the bases for number 18, Hunter Davis.
So Davis, the lefty, he is looking for his first base hit of the season. 0 for 4.
Meanwhile, we've got 3 balls coming up on the softball side for Hill, and it's 4 in a row as Hill walks to first. Next at the plate for the Wolves, pitcher number 33, Angel Knowles.
A 1-0 pitch, make that 2-0. Rosado delivering high. Lake Minneola coming in 10-6, looking to rebound after a 1-0 loss to East Ridge on April 1st. Swing fouled, 1-2 count. Excuse me, a 2-1 count now on Hunter Davis. And the delivery from Rosado, that'll even the count at 2-2. A 9-0 score in the bottom of the 4th inning. Lake Minneola certainly showing their offensive prowess as soon as possible. The 2-2 pitch, that'll run the count full. Lake Minneola scoring 5 runs in the first.
Play made to third, should be a 5-3 ground out.
3 runs in the third and 1 run here in the 4th. Count will remain full.
Next at the plate on the softball field for the Wolves, left fielder number 12, Arya Kierstead.
And the full count pitch, Hunter Davis getting a hold of that, going down right field. And the ball, another error. And 2 more runs come in, and now we are in the 10-run rule territory.
2-run score for the Hawks. One on the hit, the other on the error. Next on the plate for Lake Minneola, number 40, Shad Smith.
So Davis did actually hit into and out. The ball was caught in right field by Jay Zine, but the 2 runs come on the subsequent throwing error. So the score is now 11-0 in the bottom of the 4th. And that is Smith, and he makes good contact, but it's going to go to right field. Jay Zine putting the ball away, and that will leave us at 11-0 heading into the bottom of the 4th.
That takes us to the middle of the 4th inning, as the Hawks add 3 to their total in that half inning, and the score stands 11-0 at the end of 3.5. Meanwhile, we have Kierstead once again here fouling it away on the softball side. Kierstead will walk to first. Next at the plate for Timber Creek, designated player number 15, Alicia Pena. Pena is fair on the very first pitch. And picks up an RBI on the throw. It was legitimately a single, but she'll pick up 2 bases on the throw.
There's a new pitcher.
Now pitching for Lake Minneola, number 32, Eddie Kamalia. And as we enter for the next batter for Timber Creek, play is made in left field for the Hawks, 1 away for the Mustangs. Next at the plate for Wekiva, number 14, the right fielder, Greg Jones. And on the softball side, up next, number 24, checking into the lineup, Maya Kretschmann.
That's Simon. Simon's at the plate. So Demir Simon steps in. He is 0 for 1 today, takes strike 1. That was Bendetta leading off the 4th inning, flying to left field. McLeese putting the out away. And Camalia on the mound for Lake Minneola. He will have an 0-2 count on Simon. Camalia coming in with an 0-0 record. This is his 4th appearance, a 2.80 ERA. 3 walks, 8 strikeouts.
And we get a strike swinging to bring up a 1-2 count for Kretschmann on the softball side as she enters the lineup for the first time. And then we get a low ball to bring up 22.
So Kamalia will go back to work with a 1-2 count, make that 2-2 now.
Foul swatted away from the first baseline out of play, and the count stays 2-2 on the softball side.
Camalia delivers the 2-2 count, make that strike 3. The 7th on the day for Lake Minneola pitching, 2 out in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Kamalia picks up his first strikeout of the day, 7th overall for the Hawks. Two away for the Mustangs. Next at the plate for Wekiva is right fielder number 14, Greg Jones.
So Jones will step in. He is batting .258 on the season. 0 for 1 today, and he will look at ball 1. Wekiva's got a lot of work to do, and they are in danger of being 10-run ruled. If they are still behind by 10 runs at the end of 5 innings, the game is called. Swing and a miss by Jones. That'll be a 1-1 count. So Wekiva needs to pick up 2 runs. They have 4 more outs to work with. We are in the bottom of the 4th, 11-0 Lake Minneola lead, and Jones takes another hearty cut with no dice. It'll be a 1-2 count. Camalia gets the sign for Morales. Ooh, skipped that short. Obviously a ball. That'll even the count at 2-2. So your starter, Bradley O'Kane, went 3 innings. Did not give up a run. No walks. 7 strikeouts and 2 hits.
Falling into center field, and that's deep and over the head of the center fielder. That's going to pick up an RBI for the Wolves and a double. Double to center field. Picked up by Brooke McCann. And that also scores a run on the RBI.
So Jones steps back in. 2-2 count. Skip roping at the plate. 3-2 count.
Next at the plate for the Wolves, second baseman number 2, Reagan Grady.
So only 2 base runners reached with O'Kane, the starter, pitching. 1 a hit batsman, 1 a walk. And Lake Minneola is throwing a no-hitter through 3 2/3, and that will continue through the end of 4. 8 strikeouts, 11-0. We move to the top of the 5th. Lake Minneola with the lead.
An 8th strikeout, and the second of the day for Camalia will take us to the end of the 4th inning, and the Hawks will have us at an 11-0 advantage at the end of 4.
That's a tribute.
I either missed a run or an out on the softball field.
I think we're 2 away. 9-1. 9-1. Thank you. Excuse me?
Grady gets all the way around to third base and picks up the RBI as McCann comes home. Next at the plate for the Wolves, first baseman, number 4, Bella Sperry.
New pitcher for Wekiva.
Now pitching for the Mustangs on the baseball field, number 20, Dalton Varney.
And so Varney will begin this top of the 5th inning. Wekiva trailing 5-0. And this is actually the first appearance on the mound for Varney. So no official stats.
And the catch is made in right field on the softball field to take us to the middle of the 3rd inning, with the Wolves leading 10-1 at the end of 2.5. As we enter the top of the 5th inning on the baseball field, the Hawks begin with number 1, Tavian Sorval. And it's becoming increasingly difficult to keep track of where we are in the lineup, because nearly every position, we're in the 7th position of the lineup, thank you, Neil, because nearly every position has been substituted now on the Hawks side. A lot of players getting action today.
So Sorvel steps in, and he is looking for his first hit of the season. 7 official plate appearances, his 8th game he's played in. And he will look at a ball delivered by Varney. Ball 2, 2-0 count. Varney on the mound for Wekiva. And that'll run the count to 3-0. So, to be honest, very little that Lake Minneola has had to do in terms of defense and pitching. Their offense has certainly set the tone today, scoring 5 runs in the first inning, as the count will now be 3-1.
Rained down a baseball onto the softball field in the process. They weren't playing anyway, though, so no real meaningful disruption going on over there. Meanwhile, though, as we enter the bottom of the 3rd inning, the Mustangs will begin at the very top of their lineup with pitcher number 1, Lexi Witz.
And so Sorvel will draw the walk, another leadoff hitter reaching base.
Sorvel walks to first. Next at the plate for the Hawks, number 39, Parker Fenton.
So Fenton stepping up. He's played in 14 games. This is his 14th.
Meanwhile, Witz looks
And
at ball 1 go by.
Lifts that fly ball to straightaway center field, and Goodwin doing a nice job of looking it into his glove. 1 out. Fenton mostly a pitcher.
Goodwin on the fly catch to put 1 away for the Hawks. Next at the plate for Lake Minneola, number 16, Jonah Callie.
And Callie steps in.
Now at the plate for the Mustangs on the baseball side, third baseman number 21, Luis Concepcion.
And Callie came into today. This is only his 4th game that he's played in. And he's going to hit that ball down first base, just far enough wide to get on base. Vasquez gloving the ball, but unfortunately unable to turn around and make the throw. Did not have the angle to make the throw.
Concepcion safe at first on the softball side. On the baseball side, Callie is safe at first. And next at the plate will be number 31, Shane Thomas. Next at the plate for the Mustangs, shortstop, number 22, Alicia Perez.
So Thomas steps in. He is now officially the leadoff hitter.
Perez swings at the very first pitch. That's going toward fair territory. And it drops. In fact, it is going to be a home run. Alicia Perez with a 2-run home run for the Mustangs.
So Thomas steps back into the plate. Varney on the field, on the mound for Wekiva. And that low pitch. Oh, now even the count at 1-1. This is the 5th time Lake Minneola is going through its lineup. And that ball hit strikingly down to third base.
Beating the throw to first on the baseball side. Meanwhile, on the softball side, next at the plate is catcher number 12, Alyssa Griffin. Next at the plate for the Hawks, number 6, Parker Skiles.
So Skiles steps in, number 6. He's batting .333 for the season, at least coming into today's game. 2 for 6, 8th at bat, and he will look at ball 1. Runners at first and second, 2 out.
Griffin puts the ball in play. That one is going to stay in the ballpark. However, it is a solid double. Griffin doubles, and she is safe at second base. Next at the plate for the Mustangs, second baseman number 23, Martrice Boyd.
So a 2-2 count. And that ball's going to get seeing eye single over the mound, past second, And Skiles gets a hit and an RBI, his second of the season.
Skiles with the RBI single for the Hawks. As Callie comes home, next at the plate for Lake Minneola, number 29, Ryan Paul.
So Paul steps in with runners at first and second. 2 outs. The score now 12-0. Varney delivers. Ball hit into right field, given chase by Jones. And it drops along the foul line.
Avery Schoen now at the plate for the Mustangs.
And so
next up for the Hawks, number 8, Dylan Dargis.
So a double for Paul, and that will put runners at second and third with 2 outs. And the delivery from Varney. That'll be wide. 1-0 count on Dargis. And he'll foul that pitch off. 1-1 count. So the score is now 12-0. We are in the top of the 5th. Wekiva will have to score 3 times to avoid the 10-run rule in its bottom of the 5th. The pitch from Varney. That will bring the count to 2-1.
Schoen puts it in play, and it lobs it is caught. Fly catch is made by the Wolves, and that will take us to the end of the 3rd inning, leaving 1 on base for the Mustangs, but they do score 2 on the homer from Perez, and that makes it a 10-3 ball game at the end of 3 innings.
In the meantime, over on baseball field, the count is now 2-2 to Dargis. Varney on the mound for Wekiva. He will deliver ball 3, so a full count. Runners at second and third, 2 out. 12-0 Lake Minneola in the lead. They pushed 5 across in the first, 3 in the third, 3 in the fourth, and 1 in the 5th. And the count will remain 3-2. Runners will return back to their base. We are at Mustang Field. Wekiva came in 5-10. Lake Minneola 10-6. The full count pitch again. Another foul ball. Second consecutive hit by Dargis. So Lake Minneola is a team that has great depth. Truthfully, they probably, barring what would be an incredible comeback, are not going to have to use that depth in terms of winning today, but they certainly are using it in terms of giving their players a lot of opportunities. As Dargis draws the walk, and the bases will now be loaded with 2 outs.
Dargis walks to first. Next at the plate for the Hawks, number 18, Hunter Davis. And as we enter the top of the 4th inning, the Wolves will begin in the 4th position of their lineup with third baseman number 99, Olivia Laskowitz.
And so Davis will now appear. This is the 10th game he's appeared in. That's Varney on the mound for Wekiva. Ball ripped foul, 0-1 count on Davis. Varney steps back onto the mound. Davis back in. And the pitch, the 0-1 count. Down first base, gloved by Simon, who makes the play unassisted. So only 1 run comes across, but that does put the lead to 12-0. Wekiva will have 3 outs to work with.
Simon makes the unassisted out at first to take us to the middle of the 5th inning. Now, unfortunately, and I know that this is why all of you tune in the first place, is just to hear me sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." And you may, as an added bonus, get to catch a baseball game while you're at it. However, unfortunately, we are going to have to defer that to the softball game today, since it would be rude of me to sing while they are playing on the other field. Of course, we don't have a way to isolate sound between the two fields. But no, don't worry, there will be singing later today. It's just going to have to be during the middle of the fifth of the softball game rather than the baseball game.
So in the meantime, Mark, yes, Wekiva is facing a 12-0 deficit.
Next at the plate for Timber Creek, pitcher number 33, Angel Knowles, as Alana Hill puts runners at first and third.
However, Wekiva is also facing being no hit. They've yet to get a hit. Only 2 batters have reached base.
And
Moya reached base on a hit batsman, and then Goodwin reached on the walk. A combined no-hitter so far through 4 innings by Lake Minneola. O'Kane going the first 3 innings.
And we're going to get a stolen base on the softball field, so that puts Hill at second, Laskowitz at third. We'll pause for a quick conference between Griffin and Witz, as Timber Creek now has 2 in scoring position.
Camellia pitched the 4th inning for Lake Minneola, and now we do have a new pitcher.
Now pitching for the Hawks, number 9, Kai Seat. And now batting for the Mustangs as we enter the bottom of the 5th inning, catcher number 2, Josiah McCoy.
So McCoy steps in, 1 for 2 today. He'll be followed by Moya and Cox. And if this inning does go 1-2-3, Wekiva will not even get through its lineup twice.
Yeah, we are in mercy rule territory, so Wekiva needs to score a minimum of 2 here. Yes, to take it under 10, they'd have to score a minimum of 3 to keep the game alive.
So McCoy facing a 0-1 count. The delivery from Sit, that'll be 0-2. Sit comes in 1-2, a 3.73 ERA.
We've got some conferencing going on the softball side. I'm not sure what the confusion or disagreement is.
Ball hit down to French, gobbles the ball up and over to Rice. 1 up, 1 down. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Play is made to Rice, but 1 away for the Mustangs. Next at the plate for Wekiva, number 20, Dalton Varney.
So Sit giving up 8 runs, all 8 earned. He does have 5 walks, 19 strikeouts, and a swing and a miss.
Mustangs attempt to make the play at home, but the runner is safe to put another run on the board for the Wolves. Meanwhile, the batter safe at second. And next at the plate for Timber Creek, left fielder number 12, Arya Kierstead.
So Varney facing a 0-2 count from Sit. And actually that's an 0. Now the count is 0-2. Varney, of course, came in at the top of this inning as the pitcher. He is batting .200 on the season, 2 hits and 1 RBI. So 2 outs remaining for Wekiva to not only avoid being 10-run ruled, but also no hit by a trio of Lake Minneola pitchers. And there's strike 3, Varney. Didn't stand there like the side of the house, like the house on the side of the road. He leaned back, but the ball caught the inside corner.
Seat records the strikeout looking. 2 away now for the Mustangs. Next at the plate for Wekiva, designated hitter number 25, Clayton Cox.
And Cox swings and misses, 0-1 count. 9 strikeouts for Lake Minneola pitchers now. 1 out remaining for Wekiva to work with. 1-1 count on Cox. So again, no hits recorded by Wekiva.
Kierstead, meanwhile, takes strike one on the softball side, swings again for strike two.
A 1-2 count on Cox. Sit, the third pitcher used by Lake Minneola in this no-hit effort. Winds, delivers, and there is strike three. 11 strikeouts, and more importantly, no hits. Lake Minneola goes with three pitchers, O'Kane, Camellia, and Sit in the no-hit.
O'Kane, Camellia, and Seat combine for a no-hitter, and that takes us to the end of the ball game. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for coming out to support your Hawk and Mustang baseball teams. Don't go anywhere. Softball action continues as Wekiva and Timber Creek are currently in the top of the fourth inning. So, Neil, if you want to count up the hits and errors, we'll get the line score ready for the baseball game.
Okay, well, I can tell you, Mark, baseball, as we both said, no hits, only one walk and a hit batsman. So the trio of Lake Minneola pitchers, once again, just to wrap up, O'Kane, Camellia, and then Sit. They went two above the minimum.
We've got a 2-2 count over on the softball side. I have 10 hits for Minneola. Is that what you have?
Yes, 10 hits for Lake Minneola.
And then I have no errors for them and 5 for Wekiva?
Yes, that is what I have. So
okay.
To wrap up, again, a no-hitter. Three pitchers for Lake Minneola. O'Kane started. He pitched the third inning. Camellia pitched the fourth. Sick came in and closed out the game, pitching the fifth. 11 strikeouts, one walk, one hit batsman. And the final the records now, Wekiva drops to 6-10. Lake Minneola goes to 11-6. And Wekiva now will move on to take on Evans and Freedom. Both those games are at home, as well as West Orange. So that's your next three games. Our next game from Mustang Field will be April 16th. That's a week from today against Jones. Again, 12-0 the final. Lake Minneola throwing a shutout, throwing a no-hitter from Mustang Field.
Maya Kretschmann is now at the plate for Timber Creek. And she sends another one careening into the backstop, further dislodging our camera from where it already was. Ball brings up a 1-2 count. And I'm being told that while I was catching up with the baseball game, Timber Creek scored 2 more runs to make it 13-3. Fielder's choice will leave a runner at first. Next at the plate for Timber Creek, number 17 at the top of the lineup card, shortstop Brooke McCann. And we'll start with a ball for McCann. Second pitch away, that catches the inside to bring up a 2-0 count. And 2 outs on the board, so now we've got that corrected as well. Fouling it away brings up a 21 count. Meanwhile, let's see if we can make that full screen for you. There's a quick little glitch in the cameras here as we fix that. There we go. Full count coming up on the softball side of the field. And it's going to be a walk. McCann walks to first. Next to the plate for the Wolves, second baseman, number 2, Reagan Grady. And after a stolen base attempt, turns into a Mustang error. Payne will come home for the Wolves. Which makes it 14, and I apologize, I'll get your scoreboard updated at the bottom there in just a moment. There we go. It should update in a second. Play is made at first, and so the run will not score. And that takes us to the middle of the 4th inning. The Wolves picking up 4 runs in that half inning, and they now lead the Mustangs 14-3 at the end of 3.5. We'll be right back. Okay. As we enter the bottom of the 4th inning, the Mustangs will begin in the 7th position of their lineup with center fielder number 7, Abrianna Bryson. Play is made on the throw from McCann to Sperry for the 6-3 ground out. One away for the Mustangs. Next to the plate for Wekiva, left fielder number 19, Amy Castillo. And Castillo opens with a strike. Well inside. Did it hit her? Yes, it did. Castillo walks or advances to first base. Next to the plate for the Mustangs, right fielder number 24, Cassandra Mark. Play is made at first to put 2 away for the Mustangs. Next at the plate, Wekiva returns to the top of their lineup card with pitcher number 1, Lexi Witz. Witz singles, and I will put runners at 1 and 3 for the Mustangs, with 2 outs on the board. Next at the plate for Wekiva, third baseman number 21, Luis Concepcion.
You can turn the camera off and come out. I'll be right there. Help her wrap it all up.
Concepcion pops that one up. It's headed into fair territory. How far is it going to go? It goes all the way to the back fence, so not a home run, but it is still a double scored for Concepcion, and it's an RBI as well as Castillo comes home. Next at the plate for the Mustangs, shortstop number 22, Alicia Perez, who of course had earlier the home run that gave the Mustangs 2 of their 3 at the time. Now they have 4, which we'll update at the bottom there of the screen in just a moment. As we get ball 1. That's going deep as well, headed toward right field. Fly catch is made in right field for Timber Creek by Jenna Vitiello. And so that will strand 2 runners on base, and the Mustangs picking up 1 run in that half inning. They trail by 10. 14-4 is the score at the end of 4 innings. We'll be right back.
Get your bearings.
I gotta get Wekiva's hits and errors. They should, errors maybe, but hits they should be able to count.
They're like, it's in the book. We'll get it later. I'm like, no. Hey, thanks for letting me come. So you're a media teacher? Yeah. I'm Cisco. I'm my brother. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. told her I just needed a camera guy for the girls. Or for camera girl for the guys. There we go. I actually owe her a free pizza, but it's in my car. Gracias, gracias. Adios. Take care. Thanks again. Oh, that's me. Yeah, you're right. I was about to give you a headset. Take care. Be safe. I have to go. Do you want it? You and Derry. You got any numbers? Okay.
As we enter the top of the fifth inning, Timber Creek begins in the third position in their lineup with first baseman number 4, Bella Sperry, who opens up with a hit, getting one past third base. Sperry on the single. Next at the plate for Timber Creek, third baseman number 99, Olivia Laskowitz. Play is made from Alicia Perez to Avery Schoen for the 6-3 ground out. It does advance Sperry to second, though. One away now for now at the plate, center fielder number 11, Alana Hill. Okay, we should do it. Sacrifice fly scores the run for Timber Creek. Next to the plate, number 12, the left fielder Aria Kierstead. And apologies for the disruption there. We had a little power outage here. We've gotten that resolved now, so apologies. We had a little glitch there, and the stream cut out for a couple of minutes. Thanks for your patience. Kierstead drops one into no man's land, and that'll be a single for her and an RBI as well. Next to the plate, number 22, flexing back into the 8th position of the lineup, Jenna Vitiello. And she starts with a swing and a miss for strike one. Play is made at first base, and that takes us to the middle of the 5th inning.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the middle of the 5th inning, and that can only mean one thing. It's time for the 5th inning stretch. So stand up, stretch your legs, and join us now for Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root for the Mustangs. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. We'll be right back. As we enter the bottom of the 5th inning, the Mustangs will begin in the 4th position of their lineup with catcher number 12, Alyssa Griffin. And she'll swing at the very first pitch, and it should be an easy 1-3 ground out, and it is. Play is made from Knowles to Sperry to put one away for the Mustangs. Next to the plate for Wekiva, second baseman number 23, Martrice Boyd. She opens with a ball. Chops at that one. That's headed toward the first base line, and it drops fair. Mustangs pick up the hit there. Coming in toward third. Safe. Martrice Boyd manages to stay just fair of the first base line for the Wekiva hit. And she's safe at third with a triple. Next at the plate for Wekiva, first baseman number 3, Avery Schoen. First pitch is out of play for strike 1. Popped up, opportunity for a catch, and it is made. Foul out catch is made by Bella Sperry. 2 away now for the Mustangs. Next to the plate for Wekiva, center fielder number 7, Aubriana Bryson. And the play is made in right field, which will take us to the end of the ball game. In total, the Wolves with 16 runs on 13 hits and 3 Mustang errors. Wekiva 4 runs on 9 hits with 2 Wolves errors. And the final score 16-4. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for coming out this afternoon to support your Mustangs, your Hawks, and your Wolves athletes. This game has been live streamed on YouTube as well as the NFHS network and will be available for on-demand replay at your convenience for those of you who are here in the ballpark. Thanks for making the trip out today. Please drive carefully and arrive home safely. Those of you watching online, thanks for tuning in, and we hope that you will subscribe to our channel before you go. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Wekiva Sports, and bookmark WekivaMustangs.com for all of your scores, schedules, and more. Good night from Mustang Field.